Hello everyone. My name is Noah James Gonzalez. Friends and families call me Nonong Gonzalez, a name given to me by my grandpa which I like, and a name which established my identity. I invite you, together with my mom Angelia, Grandma Nancy, Tita Gian, and my grandpa Jimmy, to come travel with me as I journey around the world to see the beautiful places, its people and culture, and taste its native delicacies. The old Roslin Inn, circa 1660 or 1866. Here, countless travelers tarried a while. Among the distinguished visitors were King Edward VII, when Prince of Wales, Dr. Samuel Johnson, and James Boswell Robert Burns, and Alexander Naismith, Sir Walter Scott, and William and Dorothy Wordsworth, erected in 1950 by Mrs. Herbertson of Melbourne, Australia, daughter of the late Charles Taylor, curator of the chapel. So, this is where the modern Freemasonry started. When and we have here this is the Roslin Chapel, which is very at the heart of Freemasonry, history of Freemasonry. Welcome to Roslin Chapel in 1446. And this is also featured in the movie The Da Vinci Code. That we are still outside of the wall. And this is Noah. Come on, Panga. Get inside. Oh, you stay there. Can I take video, brother?
Yeah, not bad.
Thanks. How are you?
Good. There's going to be a talk at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
So if you want to join that, you're welcome to do so. Our guide's in the chapel.
Okay, thank you, brother. Yes. Here is the famous the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. And this is the St Clair collection by the St Clair family. Look at that. Truth, 20 years old. There we go. The temple and the lodge. The tragedy of the Templar. The Knights Templar in Scotland. Okay. Oh, here we are, Tata. I seen a square and compass here. There you go. I'll get that one later. Okay. This is the Roslin. The inspiration. From the late 18th century, the romantic ruins and historic past of Roslin Chapel and Castle. This is the famous apprentice peller. The story of the apprentice peller, okay? By the late 18th century, Roslin Chapel had fallen into disrepair, and the damp, windowless chapel, ivy entwined its way up columns, ferns sprouted from carvings, and moss gave the building an airy green glow. A short distance away from the crumbling ruins of Roslin Castle lay abandoned in the green steppe in history. This was the perfect romantic landscape to capture the imagination of leading artists, poets, and writers of the day. For the artists who formed part of the romantic movement in landscape painting, the picturesque setting of Roslin provided a perfect combination of enhanced Roslin Castle, Midlothian. It was by Paul Sandby, who was originally employed as a military mapmaker, but developed an interest in Scottish antiquities. This view of Roslin Castle shows three ladies in the foreground, sketching. Robert Burns, okay, Robert Burns is a poet, a Mason, and Alexander Naismith at Roslin Chapel. And the castle, and this is the Roslin Chapel. Mr. Lee inspired me to write and paint the apprentice peller. Aside from its great detail, this was from Sir Walter Scott, a Mason. He's a poem, same all on fire within, around, deep sacristy and altar spell, shone every feller foliage bound, and glimmer all the dead men's mail, blazed battlement and pin high. In 1806, the architect Joseph Michael Kennedy traveled from London to produce a survey of Roslin Chapel. Kennedy was captivated by the building and inspired to paint this work in 1815. It combines recognizable elements from the chapel, including the apprentice peller, with other invented details in the center of the building. The huge stumps of merlins give off an unearthly glow. The chapel inspired Sir Walter Scott to take up a similar theme in the poem, The Lay of the Last Minstrel, which recounts that Roslin chapels appear on fire when death draws near for a member of the St Clair family. The origins of Freemasonry. a lecture given on August 25, 2000 at the 5th International Conference of Great Priores in the Albert Halls, Stirling, Scotland, by Dr. Robert Lomas of University of Bradford. Freemasonry, and the form we would recognize today, started at the building of Roslin Chapel near Edinburgh. There are three important pieces of evidence which support this statement. Number one, Roslin links the Jewish temple through the Knights Templar to Freemasonry. Number two, the ground plan of Roslin is a copy of Herod's temple, and above ground it replicates the Herodian architecture of Jerusalem. Number three, Roslin contains the oldest document showing a modern first-degree ceremony being conducted by a Knight Templar. The layout of Roslin, which was started in 1440, is an exact replica of the ground plan of the Third Temple, built in Jerusalem by Herod and destroyed in the 1st century by the Romans. A stone document showing the first degree of Freemasonry. All the carvings in Roslin were first cut in wood and produced to the Master of Works for inspection before being cut in stone. This is one of the earliest examples of quality control in Britain. On the lower frame of the window in the southwest corner of the chapel, there is a carving which seems to be of a Freemasonic first degree. The figure shows a man kneeling between two pillars. He is blindfolded and has a running nose around his neck. His feet are in a strange and unnatural posture. In his left hand, he holds a Bible. The end of the rope about his neck is held by another man, who is wearing the mantle of a Knight Templar. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with our strange ways of within the craft, when somebody is admitted, they are called the candidate. Men are admitted to men's lodges and women to separate women's lodges. The candidate is dressed in a very odd manner, but will only be admitted when properly dressed for the ceremony. The way of dressing is to wear a rough white clothing, folded back to reveal particular parts of the body. The candidate is blindfolded and has a running nose around his neck. As I pause here, I hope you enjoy our ride. Don't forget to watch my next episode, and please hit the red subscribe button below, for it means so much for me. Until next time, thank you so much.